So these new mobile PC gaming consoles are amazing. I'm glad we're finally in an era where we can game on a device that's this small using laptop hardware. And even though the Steam Deck kind of revolutionized that, I started reviewing these devices in the complete wrong direction. I reviewed the OnexPlayer 2, which is a prototype, but it has a lot of potential. Then I went on a few weeks later to review the Ayaneo 2, which is more refined, ready for market, a more ergonomical device, but it too runs Windows. And a lot of you guys in the comment section were saying, like, how can I use these devices but not ever use the Steam Deck? Like, I wasn't worthy enough to offer you my opinion. Well, you're kind of right. So I went out and bought a Steam Deck, the base model, for $399 with 64 gigabytes of eMMC, and I even ordered a separate NVMe SSD, the 2020-30 version, the smaller one, which I'm going to upgrade later. And even though this is half the price, it's obviously not as fast as those two other Windows devices that I mentioned. Those newer ones are using a Ryzen 6800U with more RDNA 2 compute units. This one has a little bit less. But at the end of the day, I don't think that really matters because the software experience on this Steam Deck is so superior that I feel like these consoles with Windows on it are always going to be one step behind. The moment I set up this device and I was launched into Steam OS and I had access to all my games in the Steam library, it was just a different experience than loading up Windows, installing Steam separately, installing Battle.net, installing this game or that game. It just was time consuming. With this, I log in, I'm ready to go, and I don't have to think about anything else. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of you could argue that's a good thing. Having Windows installed already gives you more diversity because you have access to more executables, which you can utilize. But you know what? This is a gaming console. I don't want to be jumping through hoops to customize my experience. I just want to log in and play. Now, granted, you could install Windows on this. You could port Nintendo emulators as well, but I don't want to do that. I'm happy with my Steam library. I'm happy installing Xbox Game Cloud and using that to play cloud-based games if the game I want to play is not available in Steam right now. But the beauty of this device is the way it functions. Let me give you an example, okay? You're playing a game and you're done playing. Let's say you're halfway through it, you want to take a break, you want to go eat breakfast, whatever it is. All you do is you push the power button on the top and it freezes exactly where you are. But the thing is, when you load it back up, you're exactly where you left off and the battery is still there. Good luck doing that with an Ayaneo 2, a OnexPlayer, or a GPD Win 4. They're all running Windows. Windows' version of battery standby is hit or miss. Most of the time, you don't use this thing for a few days, you're going to wake up with a dead battery unless you completely power the device off, which means you don't leave off exactly where you were. You have to load up the game again. Now, this is big. This is bigger than the Ayaneo 2, and I'll be honest with you, the ergonomics on this device are just way better. It fits in my hand a lot easier, and the grips on the back are just more comfortable to hold. The actual buttons may not be as good as the Steam Deck. I do find the rigidity of this to be slightly better, and I love the fact that you just have access to more paddles and triggers around the device. This is big though, like this is taking up more space in your bag, but I feel like with the touch pads and the mouse pads, you just have more customization to go along with you. It just gives you more options depending on what types of games you're playing and what operating system it's using. The other thing is this thing is double the price. Like I'm buying this, I'm literally buying a laptop that's running Windows. And for some reasons, that's a good thing because you could technically go home, dock this in a station, connect it to a monitor, and have a proper Windows laptop. You could even use the USB 4.0 port and hook it up to an external GPU and get a lot more graphical performance. Now, one of the best software features is this Great On Deck tab in Steam OS. Basically, it tests a bunch of games on Steam to make sure that it runs at its best settings for the Steam Deck. And this is great. It saves you so much time. It means you can just load up the game, you don't have to fiddle around with any settings, and you're going to get the best frames per second along with the best visual experience that this device can handle. On the Windows version or any Windows mobile companion device, you got to do that yourself. You got to go into the game, you got to test out different settings, maybe change the resolution to get the best graphical and performance experience that suits your needs. I don't want to be spending all my time doing that for every single game. The other thing is customer support. These companies are based in China. If your device has an issue, you got to ship it back. You can be without one of these devices for weeks, possibly months, if something goes wrong. On top of that, I just don't know how their customer support is. I've talked to the people at OnexPlayer, very friendly, very responsive. I talked to the people at Ayaneo, super friendly, super responsive. GPD Win, forget about it. I can't even get a hold of them. I've DM'd them on Twitter. I've emailed them. I've sent a carrier pigeon. No one responds. And if that's any inclination of how their customer support is going to be, that doesn't make me feel too confident. With this guy, I can ship it to the US. They're going to take care of it for me. Valve is a big company. They're not going to go under business anytime soon, and you're going to get it back in a respectable time. Honestly, I am so glad that I bought this. I think Valve is onto something, and you're going to see a lot more competitors pop up onto the market. But the one advantage that Valve has over everybody else is the software experience. I know you can port SteamOS on those devices as well, but this has been fine-tuned correctly. And if you're just getting into the handheld PC gaming market, and you don't want to fiddle and worry about little things and just game, get the Steam Deck. If you're more of an enthusiast and you want to install like 45 million emulators, you want Windows, you're going to use it as a laptop, and you don't mind paying double the price, then yeah, the Ayaneo 2 makes a lot more sense. But the one thing that truly has me concerned, because the days are still very early, is customer support. And if that means the most to you, especially after you've saved months and months to buy one of these things, then I still think Valve has the lead. Anyways, that wraps up my review of the Steam Deck. Fantastic device. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next one.